Okay, y'all, so as I've said in the last few videos, their agenda is Pan-Africanism, to unite black people everywhere, so that we don't know our true heritage, and so the name of God can be blotted out. There's one guy on YouTube, I think his YouTube name is search for Uhuru, which is a Swahili word that means freedom. People think that their freedom comes by knowledge, and that's not the truth. Freedom comes by the Spirit of God, which can only come through obedience to the Father. And so, people, because they don't know their identity, it's been lost for centuries because of slavery and that kind of thing. They don't do enough research. They're angry at, this group, that group, white people, whatever. They are seeking. And so part of the agenda of Satan is to give them a little bit of truth, to completely throw them off of the real truth, which is the Creator in heaven, and a lot of us descend from His people. So what this gentleman did was he went to Benin, which is said to be the home of voodoo, and he's trying to tell people this is where we come from. This is our spirituality. We're not religious, we're spiritual. But if you actually look into voodoo, you will see that there's actually gods being worshipped in it. So that's a lie. People always want to say, oh, I don't worship no magical spaghetti flying monster or whatever the deal is, but then you'll worship Oshun and, I don't know, Mata, Mayad, you'll worship Ra, you'll worship Osiris, but then you want to say you're spiritual and not religious. You're lying. So I'm going to share with you this little travel blog. Let me see. It's called Happy Days Travel Blog. And these people went to Benin, they traveled through it, and they're sharing a little bit about the voodoo culture there. Now, let's talk about here how 60% of the population, they follow voodoo. It says voodoo is totally normal in Benin, and it has none of the negative connotations we in the West normally associated with. So keep that in mind, and then you decide for yourself whether these things are negative or not. Because people will try to say things because they don't understand. Most people aren't aware of the spiritual world. So voodoo means spirits in the local Fan and Iwe languages, and the Iwes are like a group of people who, this guy made this video interviewing this voodoo priest, and a few lines down into the conversation, this Iwe man is like, we weren't called the Hebrews, but we were called the Jews. And it's literally confirming, these Iwe people descend from the Jews. It doesn't matter if they're practicing voodoo and witchcraft, they descend from the Jews. The Bible even talks about how his people will be scattered and will pick up these practices of the local nations. Voodoo spiritual world. Voodoo means spirit in the local Fan. The divine creator in voodoo is Mawu or Mahu. She is an older woman, a mother, gentle and forgiving. She is the god who owns all other gods. So you have a female, a goddess who owns all the other gods. All right. So first off, that's goddess worship. You're worshiping the god. Mawu's masculine counterpart is Legba, believed to be a very old wise man who walks with crutches. Now I'm going to show you the picture of Legba. He's literally a dude with two horns. In this picture he's green and he has a heart on. Excuse my language. Legba is the guardian of spirits. You tell me whether this picture looks evil or not, because I don't know many men that have horns on their heads and a heart on. Like, what's good about this? So voodoo rituals, voodoo talismans, statues, humans, animal body parts called fetishes are often combined in the construction of shrines or altars used to call for specific deities and their associated powers. So they are invoking deities, they're invoking gods. They use all these different dead monkeys and animal legs and all this kind of stuff. Anyway. Let's see. Each animal is used for a specific ceremony. Voodoo in Benin today, white magic. Voodoo adherents in Benin stress that they have nothing to do with sorcery or black magic. That's what they say. They associate such practices with the type of voodoo followed in Haiti and other parts of the Caribbean. They see this as a corruption of true voodoo begun by slaves taken from West Africa. But then, you worship a goddess named Mawu and her husband Legba, who literally looks like a demon. They're using these charms to summon good spirits from their ancestors, okay? And that word ancestors is not referring to your great-great-great-great-grandma. It's referring to Orishas, which are gods. I'm going to read about Oshun after this. This is one of the popular goddesses that these people call on. So there is a Voodoo Day. Since 1996, Voodoo Day has been celebrated in Benin in January 10th each year. It's a national holiday with people all over the country taking part in festivals and ceremonies and endless singing, dancing, drumming, and drinking. Now, this voodoo celebration is a couple days long, and in it there's dead animals or animal parts, often on sticks, to be used in voodoo rituals. They tell me not to make fun of other people's religions, but I'm like, can you hear the buffoonery of this? So Ouida, which is sometimes called Judah, there's 115 towns that were of the tribe of Judah in this area. I'm assuming this is what it's referring to, but they tried to change the definition of it, trying to say that it means snake. So they have a Python temple in Ouida, and the temple is home to around 45 pythons who appear to have been drugged to keep them sleeping. Visitors can have their photos taken with one of the creatures draped around their necks. You cannot make this stuff up. Okay. Ouida means python. So, however, if a human kills a python, even accidentally, he or she will die. They can reduce the chances of this happening by bringing the python's body to the temple, where it is put in a coffin, given a proper funeral, and buried in a ceremony. Buried in the cemetery, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad for these pythons. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, the International Voodoo Festival, delegates from all voodoo communities in Benin and some from abroad gather to pay homage to the Voodoo. The festivities begin with the slaughter of a goat in the Python temple. So they're sacrificing goats in the temple. People then process along the slave road 3 kilometers to the beach. They are led by, the Voodoo, who stops to pray at the voodoo statues along the way. On the beach, festival goers drum, dance, and sing. Some adherents become possessed by the invoked spirits and fall into a trance. There are horse riding and magical displays. People wear colorful costumes and masks. Some commit acts of self-mutilation, cutting their bodies with knives, then pouring neat alcohol into the wounds. Wow, that sounds like a party, bro. Like, where do I get VIP? Led by the Voodooshi, the female equivalent of the Voodoo, women worshippers perform a sacrifice to the sea goddess Mami Wata. Some whip themselves into a frenzy, strip off, and beat their bodies with their fists or wooden clubs. So this is the International Voodoo Festival that they said that, it's not evil, but these people are cutting themselves, stripping their clothes off, and beating themselves, and literally becoming possessed. And so, yeah, I guess everybody's definition of evil is different. Is that what we're trying to say? So this man that Searching for Uhuru had interviewed was talking about how, the voodoo that they practice in different places isn't the same that they initially practiced. Like, it was all supposed to be for good. And, that's what they say. Witches even say they don't practice Satanism, but the fact of the matter is what they're doing is satanic. They worship Satan. They don't know it. Some of them do know it. The other thing I was going to say is this man was talking about how he uses this charm in his house. I don't know if he called it a charm or whatever, but it's supposed to help protect him from evil spirits. I'm like, if you just follow the Father, he'll protect you from evil spirits. You don't have to do all this stuff. Twins, dwarves, and albinos are amongst the most revered people in voodoo and are feted wherever they go. I heard some of these groups even cut off the limbs of albinos because it's supposed to be lucky or whatever the deal is. That's pretty tragic. So they gave another explanation of a festival, how there was dancing and drumming, that kind of thing, and then they say the next day they had to seal the deal with a shot of a powerful local spirit. They were told if their wish came true, they must return to Hive and sacrifice 2 chickens at the shrine. Man, these animal sacrifices. That's why in Psalms 40, King David is talking, and he was like, sacrifices you don't desire, but a contrite heart, These people are trying to find a way into heaven around the gate. And so, I think that's honestly why a lot of Africa is still desolate, because a lot of these people have mixed with the Hamitic tribes, of course, and a lot of them are Hamitic tribes, and they keep trying to gain heaven through these fallen angels and that kind of thing. So, I was speaking about Orishas earlier, and basically in Orisha, they also call them ancestors, is a fallen angel. Now, here's the story. This is from the Yoruba, I believe. Yep. And it's talking about Oshun, which is one of their Orishas. She's the fertility goddess, which I mean, this is Ishtar, this is Isis, this is Aphrodite, and, you know, some other goddesses that have all these same qualities with a different name and in different parts of the world. Which brings up another point. A lot of people want to talk about, oh, you know, you're worshiping a white god or whatever. First off, God is not white, he's not black, he's spirit, you know. He's not from Africa, he created Africa, he created Europe. So to sit here and say that he's white or black is ignorant in the first place. Secondly, Oshun exists in all these cultures across the world. So to say that, oh, this is African spirituality, not religion, whatever. You're worshiping Aphrodite in Africa. There's no difference to it. So don't fall for that nonsense. Now, this is reading a little bit on who the Orishas are in Oshun. The Orishas are gods that came originally from Nigeria and West Africa as part of the Yoruba religion. Yoruba, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. The gods traveled with African people who were stolen as slaves from Africa and brought to North and Central America. Today, a religion named Santeria is based on these gods and is practiced in Cuba, Brazil, and parts of Central America. I've been to Cuba, and those women that have the cigars and they wear all white, those are those Santeria witches. And it says we have practitioners here in the U.S. as well. Da-da-da. So Olodumare, which I've mispronounced his name quite a bit, the creator god, sits up far in the heavens. Other gods, Orishas, like to leave the sky and walk amongst the people on earth. So in the Bible, it talks about how the fallen angels came down. God asked Satan why he's walking to and fro on the earth, you know. Let's make the connections here. And it talks about all the Orishas have things that they're in charge of. Shango rules over... rules over thunder, lightning, fire, and dance. He loves the drums and having fun. Ilugua is the god of doors and roads. He carries messages between humans and Orisha. Oshun is the youngest goddess. She is found in the sweet waters of the world, such as streams and rivers. She is also the goddess of fertility. So, continuing, Olodumare knew that the Orishas were rebelling. Isn't that crazy? Once, some of the Orishas decided that they were tired of obeying Olodumare. He sat so far away. What did he know about running the universe that he created? They had control over all things on earth. They thought he was no longer needed. So, I mean, this is what it says in the Bible. The angels rebelled and they fell. The story ain't changed. So, Olodumare, he could have struck them down, but he decided to withhold the reins instead. And then the humans started crying, hey, save us, Orishas. What did we do to anger you? And the Orishas heard their cries. So it talks about, I think in the book of Enoch, how all the angels were supposed to have dominion over the humans. And then they fell, and that's when they lost their dominion, and now they're mad. So these Orishas knew that it wasn't the humans, but it was them. And so they tried to plead with Olodumare, but he was too far away and didn't hear. He said, I ain't listening to what you got to say. So they asked for forgiveness or promised to obey him again, but Olodumare was too far away and didn't hear. So, just like it says in the Bible, the Father did not forgive the angels. He forgives us, he don't forgive them. Several Orishas tried to ascend to the heavens, but they couldn't reach. Oshun asked if she could try, and a couple people shot her down, and then she tried anyway. She turned herself into a beautiful peacock and flew toward the heavens. Now, as she reached the sun, her colorful feathers were scorched, and all the delicate feathers burned off her head. But she was determined to reach Olodumare. When she couldn't fly another mile, she reached the home of the creator god, Olodumare, and she collapsed in his arms and was transformed into a vulture. So you know how the Father in the Bible, he talks about how where the dead body is, the vultures will prey. I mean, it might be related, I'm not really sure, but I mean, this is clear goddess worship, so I don't understand why people are saying that, you know, this isn't a religion. It is a religion. And it's interesting, too, because you have a creator God, just like in Christianity, who's the highest of high. He's over here talking about these fallen angels. So, you know, I don't know. Pray about it. Just pray about it. Or ask. Or read. Do your own research, because this really doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. But this is what they are trying to deceive a lot of black people into, you know. I made a video on Kyrie Irving, which, I mean, the man finds out he's a Hebrew and he still wants to practice New Ageism. To me, that doesn't make sense. That means to me that you're just a pawn. So you got all these black people that are falling into this ancestor worship and New Ageism and that kind of thing, and it's all purposeful. It's all part of the one world religion. So you guys just be aware. don't fall for anything that isn't biblical or isn't scriptural. I mean, it says in the last days, these people will come as angels of light. There'll be false prophets, false apostles. There'll be people that start following teachings that scratch their itching ears and these kinds of things. That's why you have to pray for discernment. So you guys be blessed. Have a good one. Bye.